First, Marc Chalmers. You're from Tribal DDB Amsterdam. And Wesley, or Wesley? Wesley Ter Haar. Wesley Ter Haar van MediaMonks. Ook de partij die ons enorm geholpen heeft met onze website afgelopen jaar en met het juryweb. So now we're going to do it in English. Is it difficult, first, is it difficult to learn Dutch? Because everybody starts...
English, international business language.
But how is your Dutch?
Thank you very much, Stephan. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I have been to the nuns in Vught.
Okay.
And it was a great experience.
Okay.
They run a very good business.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. But what's on your business card?
Well, I've just joined. I've just been, honoured to have joined Tribal DDB, and apparently my business card has still got wet ink. It's still being made, so I don't have a card yet.
And what's your job title?
Executive Creative Director.
Okay.
And so I'm working with Joris. And,
okay. And before Amsterdam, you were based in?
That was a long time ago. I used to be in London.
Used to be in London.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So you just started a couple of weeks ago, or?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago at Tribal DDB, and I've been a resident in the Netherlands by now since 2000.
Ah, okay.
Long
okay.
time.
Okay. This year we're talking about the next revolution. So if I ask you the question, what's the next revolution for you in our business?
Big question.
Yeah, big question. Yeah.
Good question. Big question. Actually, I do have an opinion on this, of course. But we spent the last sort of 15 to 20 years setting up digital. Past 5 years have been discovering social, and I think
we're still in chapter 1, I think.
Well, we are, and now we're starting to. It exists, and now we're working on etiquette within social. And now there's a few products on the market. You're wearing one yourself, which are connecting.
What's your score for today?
Connectivity.
Okay. What's your score?
Oh, my battery's gone out. I've run it hard.
Okay. Okay.
I've run it hard. But I would say connectivity, the Internet of Things. People talk about that. Not everyone knows what it means, but it's really about, say, your smartphone having a conversation or being related to things within your house or the world around you. And like a really simple example of that are the new light bulbs. So Philips have presented, but really about devices talking to one another, and that will be the next chapter: products and devices.
Okay.
For sure.
Wesley, what's the next revolution for you? Okay, first tell me a little bit more about MediaMonks, because you're...
Yeah, we are a creative digital production agency. We claim to be the biggest on the planet, allegedly.
I think
not 100% sure if that's true, but it sounds really good. We are 175 monks in Amsterdam, London and New York, and we produce digital campaign work and digital work in general for ad agencies.
So the agencies are your clients?
Yeah.
Okay.
We work with them for agencies.
Okay. And if I'm talking about the next revolution, what do you think will be the next revolution?
Well,
or are we already we are in the middle of the next revolution?
Well, I think from a production perspective, we're in the middle of a revolution, because the revolution now is digital is everywhere, which means the stuff we produce needs to live everywhere, which is easier said than done, because there are lots of different platforms, formats, screen sizes, technologies that are still relatively new. So from a production perspective, I think we're in the middle of that revolution. I think the digital to physical is something we're seeing a lot of in the briefs we're getting in. So
you
from
can't
a
separate it anymore.
No, I think digital is such an ingrained element, not just of campaigns, but of life, that our role now as a production company is to be able to interface with all those different digital touch points. Where 4 years ago you would make a website and some lovely banners and you were done. Now you're creating services and platforms, and it's about interface, and it's a lot more about enriching a user's day versus campaigns.
So it's more about behavior.
It's about behavior, and I think Google is doing some really interesting things in that area as well. It's about all these digital touch points, recognizing your behavior in a way that helps you. So not just having all these digital touch points where I'm inputting data, but based on my amount of steps I take, or the amount of time I'm in a car. Behavior. Natural behavior goes into digital touchpoints, and they make it smarter, and then hopefully reward me with something that makes sense for me as a user. And that to me is the next big step.
Those 2 days we were all talking about that we still have campaigns, but brands, there must be more there must be focus on other things for the long term. Create services, for example. How are agencies
reacting?
Yeah,
to
reacting.
that,
yes. Because well, it's not only about campaigns anymore. Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, campaigns are really sort of activations, head turners in many respects. And you mentioned services. I mean, I can speak from my experience, limited experience at Tribal DDB, but also what I've observed. And I mean, it's about how, as a business today, it's about having the infrastructure to be able to deal with that sort of elongated creative solution.
So being a natural part of the life of consumers.
Yeah, and also to the brand that you're working with, so that you're not bolted on. You actually work with them, because creativity now has got to be built into the product. About how you use it, what it feels like, what it looks like, how it works with you. They're not black and white questions. That it has to evolve, and the agencies need to be able to manage that process and work with it, and that's the skill.
And how is it changing your agencies? For example, how you organize your...
Well, it's not unusual now to have creative technologists at the heart of an agency, people who know how things get put together and work, and you wouldn't have found those along, a few years ago, and so it's about our ability to build key specialists into our systems, and then use specialists, work with partners like MediaMonks, because we can't expect to stay on top of every single technology out there, but great companies like MediaMonks can. It's their business to do that. It's our business to understand our clients, the audiences, behaviours. We overlap, but we have different roles. We have parallel roles.
Some agencies are using cell, organizing their agency like in a cell structure. Yeah. Is that something you also use, or? Because if you're becoming bigger and bigger, it's more.
What sort of cell?
It becomes more and more difficult to.
As a production agency, your office is a cell. You never leave. Yeah. But it's no weekends.
Is that the wrong word in English? Or?
No, it's great because it's very real, and
from a production perspective, it's quite a funny way to call it a cell. I think what we see happening, and again, this is from production, is the work we all do, and I think that's very similar to agencies, is it's changing very quickly. So you need people in your company, groups of people that are very much forward-thinking and forward-looking. What we tend to do is we get a lot of briefs from a lot of different regions, a lot of different agencies, so we sort of get a feel for what production, specifically the next big thing, is going to be, and then we hire people that aren't commercially viable at that moment in time, to make sure we build up our skills for the briefs that will be coming in 6 to 12 months. So we're always looking out for the next big thing from briefs and from the work that everybody sees. So I think if you look at MediaMonks, we've gone through a phase where we added games. We went through a phase where we added film. Mobile has become very prevalent. And I think at the moment there's a lot of focus on installations, on digital stuff in the real world. That is such a huge percentage of the briefs we get in now, that currently we're staffing up on that type of discipline. So for us, it's always hiring smart people early.
Is it difficult to hire smart people? It's easier said than done, I think.
It's finding good people. I think this goes for any company. It's a bit of an open door. Yeah. It goes for any company, but finding good people is the most important thing. And for us, as a production agency, we live or die by the quality of our people. So that's the most.
And why is it attractive to work for MediaMonks, for example?
We have lovely cells. Because I think we have no timesheets.
Okay.
Is
that?
Oh, cool.
Our focus is on doing great digital work. So people that come to us from a production perspective, they will not have another company where they get more freedom and more push to do the best work they can possibly do. We're not going to be asking them to finish something in 4 hours. That's not our mentality. So I think we offer them a great place to do very ambitious work. On the other hand, it's very hard work. It's not easy doing production.
Okay. We're all talking about social media, but we're focusing on the media part and not on the social part, I think. So can you tell me something about what do you think about what will be the next step in social media? What will happen in the next coming years?
If I knew that, I wouldn't tell you.
Share it with us. I think that's sharing is important.
Well, I know what's going wrong with a lot of these platforms. Okay. You know, if that's the
What
start.
is going wrong?
Well, it's you know, when they're floated and you know investments are made, then they've got to catch up with themselves and monetize themselves. And actually, it's very hard to do that. Most things have been damaged.
Social media is not invented to make money.
Well,
it's invented
to
connect people.
Exactly, it didn't grow to make money or become adopted to make money. And there's nothing wrong with people running businesses. That needs to happen. But actually, it's like some of the platforms are really, really creative, and then how they monetize it is really, really backwards. You know, there has to be, and there are other models of taking the people with you rather than imposing, say, ads over the top of films, you know, in a player.
But for example, share us some dreams about. You're dreaming about a better world, a more social world.
Well, I think it's just a nut. I think it's just a nut that we haven't cracked, and you know, we sort of, you know, in the world, in industry, we know how to invest. We know how to sort of make shares and take money. Building social platforms has been built by the people who have joined them, you know, from a spark by an individual, and then actually we're putting an old model on top.
So what will be the new models? What kind of models you think about?
Well, actually, I just something I've been thinking about a while is just the idea of opting out.
Okay.
You know, actually, because I'm sure that you're deleting many more emails than you used to without reading, and there are, you know, you start connecting between different social worlds, and you're accepting loads of different sort of how do you describe it? Sharing facilities, and you don't always want them. So there'll be a lot more opting out in the future. There'll be a lot more of protecting of your space. There's many people who wear their heart on their sleeves socially, and actually we'll find that it becomes much more of a choice whether you do that.
Okay. Yeah, last question.
Okay.
In the next coming years, can you share us your dreams?
My dreams?
Yeah.
My dreams.
Be on an island with
with lots of internet. My dreams. For MediaMonks or for the industry?
No, it's you can tell both your dreams.
Well, I think if I'm honest, if I look at the work we do, I think there is a tendency in our industry now to, and it is about projecting old models on a new world. It's about treating digital as a way, or treating it similar to TV. It's all about reach. So everything you do see now is about reach and reaching as many people as possible. But I think digital at its heart is about interactive. It's about giving people in general the opportunity to interact or engage with your story, your brand, your platform. So my dream is that we step away from the old TV model where it's all about reach, and we go back to what I think digital was about when we all started, which was about being very interactive and tinkering and doing very smart stuff. My feeling now is we're dumbing it down a bit. So my dream, hopefully, is that stops.
Okay. And can you tell us your dream?
I want to sort of focus and hopefully I want to do useful stuff. You know, I like the idea of I always said brilliantly useless or useful utility. You know, it has to be sort of one or the other, because we're human beings, we love entertainment. But I would love to, you know, the opportunity now is to do really interesting and useful stuff that crosses borders. It would be nice to actually make things a little bit better at scale.